And welcome back, everybody. We are live. Happy Cinco de Mayo here at the Prop Stars. Got my boy TJ, guest star and future queen, first princess Briella right there, just living the life, hanging out with daddy. It's always cool, man, especially during holidays. Celebrating a little bit of my Mexican heritage. Good to have everybody. Obviously, we talk sports, man. We're jumping into it. We got some crazy NBA action to break down.
Yeah.
After it was one of the toughest days in Florida sports. I will say that over the last couple of days. And then, of course, we got some baseball. We got Judge making history. My Atlanta Braves are balling. And we're going to talk a little bit of some of the NFL trends that are going on. But first, let's talk about the New York Knicks. Did you know, TJ, and obviously I know you knew, they won their last game, what was it, by 51 points. And that was on Thursday. You get a break and you come back out. You're fighting Philly. The length is supposed to be a problem. And all of a sudden, I look up, and I'm just busy last night working. I look up at the score, and they're winning by like almost 40. And I had no idea. And they ended up finishing with a 39-point win, I believe, plus a 51-point win. So you've won your last two games by like 90 points?
Yep.
That's insane.
Yeah, we won 3 straight games by 25. And
that's crazy.
Honestly, we put Bridges on Maxey early. They didn't have an answer for that. And then I think Mike Brown actually took the pedal off the gas a little bit because we started getting Bridges off Maxey right away. I almost think that we saw something early, and he almost was like, all right, we're going to win this game. We're not going to show all of our cards right away. Because they started taking Bridges off of Maxey. But Bridges' length gave Maxey a lot of problems. Obviously, you want to stop Maxey from getting to the hoop. We'll try to have him settle for jump shots. Not a bad jump shooter. Max is a superstar in this league. But everybody was saying on paper, there's matchup issues. And all I kept on saying is you can't replace chemistry, right? And the Sixers, unfortunately for them, due to injuries, this roster, they haven't played together that much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the Knicks, I mean, we've been very lucky. We've been very lucky with health, you know? We've been a very healthy team recently. And we're just so cohesive, right? And it's just the way, and also Jalen Brunson isn't dribbling the ball up the court every time too. We're having OG bring it up. So it's not getting super sticky with Brunson either. But it was a great game one. Nobody thought we would put it on them like that. I heard people say Sixers and 6, Sixers and 7. Now I can't wait to watch the Cavs and Pistons just brawl and duke it out while we're just punishing the Sixers. But I think the Sixers, that wasn't fatigue. I think that was shell shock, what we put on them last night. And I keep on, like, we obviously shot really good, so that's besides the point. But
yeah, Brunson was in his bag, man. Every time I looked up, dude was just hitting shots. It's crazy.
We were shooting good, but we just had great opportunities all night. You know what I mean? These weren't contested shots. So the shooting percentage was a direct reflection of.
Do you think Embiid healthy?
Say it again.
Banged up. I said, do you think Embiid is healthy? He's banged up, obviously.
Yeah, he looked healthy last night. We just
looked fine, right?
Yeah, we put him into the ground so early. You could arguably say it worked out okay for Philly because they rested all their starters in the second half pretty much because they got their doors blown off. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see. I mean, this is the thing, right? It wasn't looking great for the Knicks a week and a half ago when we were down 2-1, right? But now we just saw the Pistons and the Cavs go to Game 7 against teams that we didn't think were at that level yet. The Magic, when healthy, are great. We know that. But we thought both of those series would be quicker series, right? Not us personally, because we were rooting for the Magic.
No, right, sure. Yeah.
You said Magic in 6. I thought the Magic would win it too. But
they had it, Franz, whatever. I mean, they had the opportunities and they couldn't get anybody else to step up.
Yeah, and we'll get into that. But the point I'm trying to make is that the Cavs and the Pistons have not looked great.
Sure.
Cavs and Pistons have not looked great.
They both got pushed and almost choked.
Yep. And now look at the Spurs. They just lost to a Minnesota team that Anthony Edwards couldn't even start. He's in so much pain. He played through the game. He self-admittingly in the press conference said, I made big mistakes down the stretch. I almost cost my team the game. So the Spurs aren't looking super dominant, right? OKC, we'll see tonight. I don't even know what the deal is with Jalen Williams. Is he playing?
I
I know he hasn't been playing, but
right.
but
I was
didn't
gonna
look
say I
through-
don't know if they even need him back right now, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know if they need him either. Luka's coming back. He's a game time decision, hamstring. Luka's coming back game 3. They've already announced that. I think the Lakers are hoping to hit lightning in a bottle and try to get one. We'd all be shocked if they did.
They
But
need another Kennard game or something crazy for somebody to go nuts.
but the Knicks,
They got Reeves back, right? They got Reeves now?
Yeah, they got Reeves back, but things are looking up for the Knicks is the point I'm trying to make.
Sure.
I think we are now the favorites to win the East, right? It was the Celtics. Celtics were number 2 or 3 in rating in odds to win the championship before the playoffs started. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So, but now I don't know if the Cavs or Pistons can beat the Knicks. And now we saw the Pacers last year take OKC to game 7. You see what I'm trying to say? So like this OKC team isn't untouchable. The Knicks, I think Knicks fans, for the first time in a while, we didn't think it could maybe be the case last year because we were shocked we got past Boston. But this year, I could see us winning an NBA championship, and Vegas and the Hard Rock odds kind of agree.
I will say, man, to see what's going on with the other teams and knowing that you guys just made a deep run last year and knowing that that experience is something that's tucked in, you ran it back. You didn't go out and, you didn't blow it up. You didn't do all these crazy changes. And I think that you're benefiting from that right now. I think that your team has been through this. You're tested. And I think waking up to Atlanta is great. Crushing them the way you did, made the statement to the league, and then you come out and blow out Philly, who everyone's talking Philly's long. Philly's got length. Philly's matching up really good with not just you, and they're already looking at Philly versus either Cleveland or whatever. It doesn't matter.
And Embiid has Towns' number. Towns has played horrible versus
Everyone's talking
Embiid.
about how soft Towns is right now, bro. I thought y'all looked tough, bro. You look good.
Yeah.
You played tenacious defense last night. You didn't give up any possessions. You were scrappy. And I think you guys are always a little bit more dangerous and a little bit you're at your best whenever you're being, underappreciated, when you're being disrespected, when you're an underdog, right? And
Towns
it's crazy, like you were a 7.5 point favorite last night, and everyone still thought you were the underdog. Like, it's crazy.
Oh, yeah, because we've been hearing the big 3: Embiid, Paul George, Maxey,
right?
Edgecombe. How are you
and then Oubre, blah blah blah.
Yep, Kelly Oubre. How are you gonna stop that 5? Who's Brunson gonna cover? And I didn't really have that answer because on paper,
like on defense, who is he going to cover? Because he's a liability, right?
Yep, the Sixers look scary on paper, right?
Yep.
But we're literally now this team. Don't even count college with Bridges, Hart, Brunson, and all that stuff. But this team has played 150 to 200 games together.
Right, it's a big deal, especially in nowadays free agency and the way everything turns, trades.
And Towns is really his release from 3-point is so quick, right?
Yeah.
So there's just no help defense. Johnny T says best Knicks basketball I've seen in close to 30 years. I agree, John. And like I said earlier, I think Mike Brown saw some things and he backed off right away. Because I remember Bridges gave Maxey fucking hell.
Yeah, he wasn't wrong right away and didn't want to he was like, man, we're gonna save that.
And then 3 possessions after he locked him up, like three straight possessions. Bridges was off Maxey. And I'm like, okay, kind of interesting. But I think that we weren't trying to show all our cards. And I want to this is bringing back memories. I'll never forget waking up in the morning and just thinking, is it going to be Ewing? Is it going to be Oakley? Is it going to be Starks? Is it going to be Derek Harper from top of the key?
Is that the Houston? Threes? Is that the Allen Houston era too?
No, the Allen Houston was a little after that.
A little after.
Yeah, Allen Houston was late 90s. The early to mid 90s was Starks.
That was
Ewing,
all Starks. Mason, I remember that.
Harper. And we didn't Ewing was our number one. He was our go-to guy. We'd give it to him in the post, but I'm feeling that love again. And I was hard on Brunson. And not like I'm backing off that, but I love how Mike Brown, and we have OG bringing the ball up the court. We have Hart bringing the ball up the court. We're running the offense through Towns. And now look what Brunson did. He had 35 points playing half of a game, and he's getting open looks because he's playing off the ball more.
I was going to say,
yeah, we're all stating the obvious here, right? But it's just, we've won 3 straight games by 25 plus points. And the ball is just flying around the court. And we shot a great percentage because we had wide open looks. It's a great feeling. And I can be honest with you, I'm not trying to drink the Kool-Aid, but I think we're the favorites to win the NBA Finals now. Look at Wembanyama. He had 12 blocks yesterday. He only had 11 points. That's not enough. I just see the Knicks.
Wemby's going to continue to go. I think the Spurs, obviously, they're going to have their hands full. You got a very dangerous Minnesota team with some loaded players there, and Anthony Edwards is in his own level, depending on his health. We'll see what happens.
Can I tell you something really quick too,
bro? Yeah, fire away.
Every play of that Minnesota Spurs game. Let me tell you the 2 things that I take away from that. One, Wembanyama has a charge with like a minute and a half to go in the game. They called the charge, right? Wembanyama runs back on defense and keeps saying, my bad, my bad. How often do you see a star actually take accountability and performed a foul? The ref called it. He didn't look at the ref and start crying. He ran back on defense and was yelling at himself. And then Anthony Edwards, after the game, after they just won a shocking game where nobody thought he was going to play until, 5 o'clock Eastern time.
Right.
Anthony Edwards is saying, I need to be better. I almost blew the game for us. Those are 2 humble guys that are
it's
not.
It's a culture of accountability, man. That's a big deal that you don't see from a lot of these players.
It's a culture of accountability. And instead of these athletes nowadays always complaining to the ref, always looking at the ref, these are guys that are looking at them. And guess what? As a fan, I love it. But there's a reason why Minnesota, who I have said for the last 3 or 4 years, has one of the unsexiest rosters. Yeah, Julius Randle is now playing the best basketball of his career. But that is not an amazing roster, but they win. It starts with Anthony Edwards, and there's a cockiness, but
Daniels is nasty too, bro.
And he's turned into
McDaniels.
Daniels has turned into an up and coming star. I always knew he was a scrapper, but now he's scoring off the dribble, turnaround fadeaways. Like, I did not know he had that offensive prowess. He didn't always have that. He's one of those guys. I'm not going to compare him to Kawhi, but Kawhi and Jimmy Butler were defensive specialists,
right?
Like McDaniels, that improved their offensive game.
Right.
It's hard to improve defense. We've talked about it, right, Buff?
Yep.
It's all effort and caring and wanting to win more. That's hard to teach. But offense, you can improve, right? Yep. And I kind of see him on that trajectory, like a Kawhi and Jimmy Butler, where they started out as defensive specialists, and now they're improving their offensive game. But Minnesota and the Spurs, it's going to be a great.
It's a dogfight. I still like the Spurs. I like the Spurs in that. I think the Spurs come out on top. I do say I see what Gene wrote over here. Be careful with the Sixers talking about the hangover. Yeah, I mean, obviously, getting blown out by 40 doesn't matter if you come in and win game 2. You split on the road. You know what I mean? So it doesn't even matter. Like you said, you rested your starters. You let the hangover take set. You just got your ass kicked on national TV. Now go up and do something. So I know that you're going to get a better fight in game 2. And we'll see how the Knicks are going to, I guess, fare against that sort of. I think it's mentality. I think after you beat a game like that, right? After you beat the Celtics in a game 7 and you're coming into this, you just can kind of feel within that first half, and they were within 10, but they just looked gas. You could just tell the energy wasn't there, and you guys were buzzing around, like you said, balls flying around. They got to wake up. That was just a hangover game. I agree with that, Gene. I think it'll be a better game this next one. I will say that's probably the only time that either team gets blown out by 30. You know what I mean? Like, whatever.
Yeah, and like I don't think every
it's not a bold statement. I just think that every game is going to be closer,
Yeah, and I don't think every game's going to be like that. But if you're the Sixers, there is some doubt. Where are we like, whoa, because Boston tricked us last year, right? And I was so happy as a Knicks fan because I thought we beat a championship level team. We find out now that Boston, I mean, let's be real.
Blow it up. You got to blow them up.
Boston beat the Mavericks with Luka, a hobbling Kyrie, and nobody else, right? Like Boston, they won a championship, hang that banner, but I was fooled by them. And now the Sixers took a pretty shitty Boston team to game 7, right? And they beat them in game 7. But I think there is some doubt in the Sixers and their fan base. They're like, is this kind of the norm? We're running into a good team right now. And got 26 in the building, guys. Please like and subscribe. But I think that we fell for the okie doke last year as Knicks fans, thinking that when we beat Boston, we beat a championship level team. This year, we know that we have to treat every possession by possession, game by game, series by series. And I don't know. I just think the Knicks have a swag about them right now. Easy to say when we win 3 straight games by 25 plus, but this is a one cohesive unit. We're like an infinity sign. We're just like one molecule.
I see that.
But anyways, let's talk.
Hold on. Before we move, I just want to say, you got the Celtics. Obviously, let's talk about it. We talked about it early. They were over-exceeded, right? They exceeded expectations whenever they were number 2 seed. Nobody thought they're going to be 2. We talked about them. We thought they're going to be fighting to get in a playoff game scenario. Instead, Jaylen Brown has an incredible regular season. They get Tatum back. They were not cohesive. They did not get to play 200 and something games together, blah, blah, blah. And you could tell that they're still having that alpha dog problem. They're still having that problem. Who's the finisher? Who's bringing the ball up? And then like Tatum just all of a sudden, after coming back, you just can't play game 7. Like you said you got cramps or something, bro. Like, what do you want, your period? I don't know what's going on. Like the dude wasn't there when his team needed him most, and this is why you came back. Now, be that as it may, they still had a game 7 to win, and they couldn't get it done. The Magic, they were another team up 3-1. They were not supposed to be the 8 seed, right?
Yeah.
And I still feel like they're getting more shit for the choke job that our poor boys did more than the Celtics. You know what I mean? And the Celtics were the 2 seed. They're both up 3-1.
Yeah, the Magic were up 24 in the second half, and and
then imploded and missed 21 straight shots. Paolo made 1 field goal, 17 points in the second half. Lowest scoring total in history, right? In the playoffs.
Yeah, our loyal listener Eric has been saying all year, Orlando Magic can't shoot, right? So when things aren't going good, now it's a shame because I think we all agree that the Magic win this series if Franz doesn't get hurt, right? And it's Franz and Jason Tatum. I like to think these guys are tough as nails, and I'm sure they are. But, and someone that has a leg injury right now, I'm a lot older.
TJ, I couldn't hold you out of a softball game whenever you were limping. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's just.
I know. You'd like to think, like, look what Minnesota did with Anthony Edwards yesterday. He didn't start. He didn't start the game.
Didn't start.
They were putting him in whenever they felt like they needed to. I can't imagine in game 7, Jason Tatum couldn't have somehow been of value.
For game 6 or 7, you can't even put Franz in. Like, it is what it is, man.
I am giving Tatum just a slight pass because he is coming off that Achilles injury, right? And if it's something where you're that scared, you're going to re-aggravate it. And there's a lot that goes into that. And also, they're saying if he played this game, he could have risked, if they won, he would have been out the next series. That's how delicate that situation was.
Yeah.
But
just how like 2 teams that didn't have all their guys for the year that were not playing cohesively whenever it came down to the key or critical moments, whenever they needed their squad to be there. It's just tough, man.
Yep.
Sucks. Both teams ended up blowing a 3-1 lead. They're done.
And Rob, as a Celtics fan, which is kind of crazy because he has a Yankees jersey on because he's a Yankees and a Celtics fan. I'm not going to judge the guy. But yeah, Eric, I agree. Larry Bird Larry Bird would not have sat out game 7.
Tell him, Eric. I'm telling you, man. TJ's never set out a softball game. I didn't care how injured he was. Never saw him sit.
they couldn't keep Anthony Edwards out of the lineup in game 1.
And he had a hyperextended knee, and they were talking about like it was bad. Like, dude's out there balling.
I just think that okay, let's just go back to the Orlando Magic too. They fired Mosley. It's just
right.
I
was gonna mention that they fired Mosley. Bickerstaff got an extension, right? So they both go opposite there.
Let's think about this for a minute too, right? Like think about some of the coaching. Think about some of the coaching firings we've seen in sports over the last year. Harbaugh gets fired because if that guy makes the field goal, Harbaugh doesn't get fired, right? We could probably all agree on that. If the Magic get to round 2, if Franz doesn't get hurt or the Magic don't blow a 24-point second half lead, then Mosley doesn't get fired, right? It's now there's other things that lead up to that. I'm not saying that, but it's unfortunate. Now, that's why I'm grateful, knock on wood, as a Knicks fan. We have been extremely fortunate with health. And I think that health will, if the Knicks stay healthy, they're going to be great. The Magic, where do they go from here? I was just trying to think of random guys. Like the Magic knew they were shooter deficient because they brought KCP in. They also tried to bring in Klay Thompson, but they can't pay Klay Thompson $40 million a year. Do you know that the Magic, they're starting those 4 guys, Franz, Suggs, Bane, and Banchero, they equal the salary cap for next season. So those 4 guys are at $155 million, and that's the NBA salary cap. So that means the other 11 guys need to play for free for the Magic to be under the salary cap. Obviously, the Magic can pay a luxury tax, which is kind of weird for a small market team, right? But the Magic have to separate the big 4 somehow, some way. And obviously, everyone's saying get rid of Suggs, right? Because he's just
a liability on offense and inconsistent on defense sometimes. I mean, it's tough.
Just offensively deficient. And if you could replace him, I don't know, maybe with like a Kyrie Irving or something, right? I'm trying to find a win-win on both sides, right?
So you don't mind taking like a veteran player. You're not looking for the youth movement to come in. You don't mind taking a stab at like a veteran shooter, kind of like a Duncan Robinson per se, that's living over there with Detroit, Like
I was hoping the Magic was going to make the run at Trae Young, to be honest with you. I thought that, but
hey, Rob,
I'm trying to think of guys that it's a win-win for both, right?
Sure.
And obviously, I think there's teams that would love to have a guy like Suggs, but the Magic have to figure out their shooting woes. They have to get more shooters on the court. And it is what it is there. But, NBA is in its peak right now. It's great but I'm not working just to be able to watch these games all night. They're so intense. And I don't know. Have we covered it? Yeah, Wembanyama had a triple-double yesterday, 12 blocks. He only had 11 points. I don't know. He had like 10, 12 rebounds or something like that.
Right.
But he needs to get going.
Tonight, Cavs, Pistons, and Lakers, Thunder, obviously.
Yeah.
Cinco de Mayo, it's a great slate. You got the Cavs at the Pistons. Pistons are favored by 3.5. OKC's favored by 15.5.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you see what writing is there on the wall, and we know about their smothering defense in the third quarter runs. You know what's so funny? I know, TJ, you and I, just as before we move on from basketball, I know you and I are sunglass guys. Always wearing our sunglasses, right? Yeah. Always appreciated this. And I remember back in the day when I was a kid, maybe it's a little bit influenced from one of my favorite players of all time, Deion Sanders, prime time. Always wearing his sunglasses in those post interviews, right? I have seen the trend of these kids in the NBA, especially, SGA and any other Zennial, essentially. They're just wearing their glasses in the post conference, just out there hanging out. I'm a big fan of it. It's so funny though, because every time I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, those are fire glasses. I wonder what they are. I'm just checking out the swag. And I always hear some like old head just talking, like, why doesn't he take his glasses off? Why does he wear his sunglasses in the presser? Yeah. I'm like, what are we doing? Like, you played poker, so I know why you wear glasses. It was a big thing for Reeves, and obviously is what it is. I always just like wear my sunglasses, and people bitch at me all the time for never taking them off, even at nighttime. I don't care. I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
It's fine with me. But yeah, I
Yeah.
just thought it was funny. You see all these kids wearing them now, and you hear the different generations talking about
Yeah.
Shy and Chet Holmgren and anybody else who's out there in the suit and the glasses looking good, you know?
Yeah, it's
It's kinda
always a
funny.
certain hat. I always just think it was funny. Colin Cowherd used to say when he hates when quarterbacks do a press conference and they have their hat on backwards. He's like, I
Right.
don't care if my receivers or my linebackers have my hat on backwards. Looking good and acting like he's like, in control. But it's kind of funny with the glasses and hat thing.
But anyways,
Well,
that's enough about NBA. Go ahead. What's
yeah,
next?
let's move to the NFL. You want to talk about we noticed a little bit of a trend between that
All right, yeah. So I was doing a little
linebacker
bit of
and
research on it. There seems to be, obviously, when there's smoke, there's fire. There are some trends in the NFL right now where a lot of teams are moving out of the base 4-3 defense and moving to a 3-4. So obviously, you're adding a linebacker into the mix. The linebacker is giving you that versatility, right? That's what we know. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
It's not rocket science. Anybody who knows NFL football and defensive schemes, you now have somebody who can run, stop, or rush, and makes it a little bit disguised on your defenses, so you don't know exactly what's going on. There's a trend as well with people going more nickel because it's such an offensive league. So you got a lot of people, that are into these nickel Ds, adding the extra safety or the corner, right?
Yeah.
Our buddy John Larger made a very candid point and kind of brought it to our attention. There's also the reasoning behind this trend, which there is some factual evidence behind it, is because of the commanding money of these defensive tackles. So Chris
Or
Jones,
defensive ends. Like, yeah, defensive
defensive ends, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, you just get these players, and on average, they're making like 24 to 31 million a year for defensive linemen or these tackles, and linebackers are still at the 15 to 20 million a year.
Oh yeah, and then you have Parsons and Garrett. They're making almost 50 million a year.
And then you got Parsons here that are making 50 million a year. So I think teams are seeing that you're going to have certain positions commanding more money. And obviously the salary cap is going to be roughly 300 million next year. And to be able to get the most out of that, to juice it for whatever it's got, they're going and trending with more linebackers and keeping the speed and versatility in position instead of just paying and dropping all your money into just one or two guys that are supposed to be rushing the quarterback. I think it's great. It kind of handcuffs the players a little bit in this guaranteed money movement. The guaranteed money we all see. Everybody knows that there's going to be trends. The salary cap's going up. We all see that. Like Dak's getting paid ridiculous money. Uh-oh. Don't know what happened there. I hope we're still on.
Yeah, I think we still are.
I think we're still there. But either way, like you get these players, they're making all of this money, and you can only pay so many players. So that's where it derives from. So they're just kind of combating or figuring out a way to balance out the books. And I think that it's a kind of a smart move. I think it's a little bit, it's a little bit sneaky. And I'm not saying it's like good for the players, but I mean, there's always going to be a constant battle or a give and take and ebb and flow between the team and the players and figuring out how to handle these rosters, how to handle these salaries, and how to handle this guaranteed money. It's a very interesting take because the Cowboys went from a 4-3 to a 3-4, or yeah, exactly, from a 4-3 to a 3-4. I think you said the Giants went from a 4-3 to a 3-4. There's a lot of teams that are turning this into something that I feel it is a trend now, and we are going to see it going forward. And you're going to see maybe the money kind of like levels out a little bit for those positions. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's interesting, right? Because are you an outside linebacker or are you an edge rusher? Edge rushers command $50 million a year if you're a top edge rusher, 40 to 50. TJ Watt just got a contract that was like $40 million a year that I know Omar Khan did not want, that I don't think he wanted to pay. But I think that's really interesting because does that change the whole dynamic of play calling? If you really think about it, if I'm a coach, I'm not trying to screw my players, but also if I'm the GM and I'm telling my coach, hey, can you drop him back in coverage just a little bit so we could put him as an outside linebacker? The top outside linebacker makes $24 million a year or $30 million, right? Instead of paying this guy who's going to make 50. And it's kind of crazy if that all turns into this, some sort of, not really a conspiracy, but are you an edge rusher or are you an outside linebacker? Yes, you could be both, but if you're only rushing the quarterback half of the plays, then am I gonna? Yeah, it's a real interesting thing, and I thought that the NFL will correct itself,
Sure.
but I definitely see for a couple years where GMs can use this as leverage, as like, hey, we can't pay our outside linebacker, $50 million a year.
Rob, where we at, bro? What's going on here?
Yeah, he's
Anyways,
working on it now.
I was gonna say that I also, what's crazy about that is you're paying $50 million to somebody like a Trey Hendrickson or whatever, TJ Watt, to somebody who doesn't stop the run. They don't stop the run all the time. Like
Yeah.
they're not made to be those dudes to stop the run. They're made to sack the quarterback. But it's just crazy. Like you're paying $50 million to somebody who plays a guessing game and has to be rewarded on that gambling, it really is kind of mind-boggling with the way that money is
Yeah.
allocated for those positions.
I mean, I've always thought it was crazy, right? Because as an edge rusher, if you just make one sack a game, you're going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. But
Right.
you're also doing a lot of things. Like there's so many, like Parsons. I've literally watched him take over a game where he is literally blowing past the right tackle like every time. It's just a joke. And edge rushers have they're the most most important player on defense, right?
So I got another little thing. Obviously, it's an interesting topic. We'll see how it develops. Another little report that came out of where Cleveland still has an NBA basketball team in the playoffs. Deshaun Watson is reported to be your QB1 over Shedeur Sanders. Now, hey, there you are. Now we all understand that, right? We all feel like you got so much money vested into Deshaun Watson. It's all guaranteed. You know that you're gonna have to pay the dude. You should just go out and play him. I mean, whenever you pay that much money for something, you want to feel the value and get some sort of return on that investment, some sort of dividend, right? And then here we are. Browns are like, yeah, Shedeur, you're behind Deshaun right now. And I hope that's good for Shedeur. You know what I mean? Like mentally, I hope he can accept that. And I'm sure he can probably put the common sense together on that. Like, bro, you're the future of it right now. And God forbid if this bum gets hurt, then you got it. You know what I mean? But we're paying this bum a ton of money, so we gotta play him. I mean, and from what I've heard, it's not like it's a huge difference between the two. Obviously, experience and reads is one thing, but like the zip on the ball, that's not it. It's not because he's just that much better than Shedeur. They're saying that's not it, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't really know what to make of that, to be honest with you.
I mean, if you're Cleveland and you're the Haslams, do you go out there and run Deshaun Watson? I mean, is that like their thought process? I mean, are you just making your bet because you have to, or are you just going against what probably is the right thing and just cutting ties and bait and letting it be? And is it because your pride is hurt, your ego is hurt, the egg is on your face, and you don't want to just cut him or something? And God forbid he went to another team, and if he did something, and they're like, "Oh, we let him go, and we should have kept him after we paid him." I don't know what the hell they're thinking. It just seems like they're managing or they're making these decisions, I feel, out of fear and not out of confidence.
Yeah, I mean, we all know obviously the Watson thing was a disaster, and no doubt about that. And I remember when he got drafted,
Worst contract in history, right? We all agree? The worst contract in NFL history.
Yeah, I mean the worst. Just
it's not even close.
It's not even close. And I remember when he got drafted, there were huge question marks about if he was capable, right?
He's a Clemson guy, right? Came out of Clemson.
Yeah, and he was amazing. He was amazing for Clemson.
Right.
And
he had a great rookie year. And he came out and he balled. He
had a great rookie year. I'm just so curious on when he got drafted.
What is it, 6 years ago already? What is it, 2020, 2019?
Yeah, I want to see what pick he went. Yeah, he was in the first round. And I don't know why this sticks with me so much. His velocity on his ball was very low, and they said that they've never had a quarterback like be successful in the NFL with an arm that wasn't as strong as his, right? But he was a winner, right? And he's kind of mobile, but not super mobile, but mobile enough
Right.
where he can buy a little time.
Sure.
And I think that I'm a big fan. I hate how Dayball last year just said Russell Wilson's a starter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hate that. So
Yeah.
let him show up and let him straight duke it out. And take the names off the jersey, take the number, and just have those two guys play, and just pick the best player. Shador did not have a good rookie year, right? But Shador showed signs. I mean, they had a veteran quarterback in there for a while at first, right? And then they put Dylan Gabriel in. Dylan Gabriel could not push the ball more than 5-10 yards down the field. It was honestly crazy to watch. And then Shador gets in, and the first 2 games, he has like 3 or 4 50-yard plays.
I was just about to talk about that. Yeah, you nailed it.
And
Yep.
it was a big thing on every network, because they were like, okay, so to me, I would rather have a rookie quarterback be making mistakes because he's pushing the ball down the field, right? Because you can always scale back. And if you're Shador, can you blame him for not? If I'm Shador, I'm gonna be like, hey, I'm gonna try to win, but I'm gonna light up the stat sheet a little bit. Now, his completion percentage, his QB rating was horrible, but I don't always go by QB rating also, because I've watched games where I'm like, that was the guy's QBR, and it's super high, and I thought he had a below average game. And then I've seen games where the QBR is super low, but I thought that they played a great game, right?
JJ McCarthy gets you the win. The 29 fucking QBR.
But I think that Shador, you got to let him duke it out. Let him duke it out. Don't give anyone the job, and see who the locker room rallies behind. But Shador has been dragged through the mud. I'm not gonna there's not gonna be a pity party for him.
No, yeah.
But Shador's been a quarterback for a long time, and with below average weapons last year, extremely below average weapons and horrible weather, he showed glimpses. So I think that's very important. You want to move over to baseball?
Yeah, we sure can. I was just looking at the other NFL topics and whatnot. I was just looking at Anthony Richardson. He was another guy. I was just like, Anthony Richardson over there showing up for work again, kind of like the same Deshaun Watson kind of feel and story. You're just like, man, all right, this is a guy, you're a pedigree. We all saw your freakish metrics in the combine and whatnot. I mean, I feel so bad for people that get injured. You just want people to have a fair shot in this league. It's like the toughest sport. It's crazy. And then he goes down. Daniel Jones comes in, lights it up, and then he goes down. So now you got these 2 quarterbacks and you got AR showing up for work. What are you doing if you're the Colts over here? Kind of the same situation. Now, they're not naming at the moment, right? Like, obviously, we still would all believe that, Daniel Jones, when healthy, would probably have the job, but haven't heard anything other than AR show up to work, and we're going to see what happens.
Yeah, I thought they didn't extend him, though, or what? They didn't take out his 5th-year option? Is that what happened?
Something, man. I'm just curious. Like, what do you do if you're the Colts, man? These quarterback situations, whenever you got I don't know, when you got a 2B and a 2C quarterback, and you're just trying to make it, because we saw the backup for him. I forgot what was the guy's name that was behind Jones? It slips my mind. It's like Stein. I don't know. Something like that.
Riley Leonard.
Oh, was it Riley Leonard? Is that what it is? Okay, behind. Either way, I mean, if you have Daniel Jones and he's hurt, or what are you doing with your quarterbacks? That's all I'm saying. It's just another thing. I'm like, are you trying to bring in AR and compete for the job? Is that what's going on?
I always thought I was so confused on why they brought in Phillip Rivers if they had
they had another dude out, bro. That's what I'm saying. Is this just another
Notre Dame? I never
is this
understood.
bad GMing? Is this just bad team management? Is why we have these stories,
Well, Anthony Richardson, they declined his 5th-year option, right? So he's going into his 4th year. You have an option before the 4th year to decline their 5th year. They obviously declined his option because he has been.
Why? I mean,
he's been a bust,
right?
Daniel Jones stepped right in and they were one of the best teams in the NFL before he got hurt. Richardson's 23 years old. I don't think this is the end of his career. I
He's
think
still with the
that,
team. Obviously, he's a freak
yeah,
athletically.
I could see. I thought he would have been a great, like, kind of backup to Lamar Jackson and kind of work in like the system like that. Maybe the Eagles bring him on, right, and have him back up Jalen Hurts.
I mean, how wrong was everybody, TJ? Like 2 years ago, Anthony Richardson was the darling of fantasy football. He
Yeah,
was
for a couple weeks, right?
he
But I
had the
was,
first
yeah,
year, his rookie year before he got hurt. He was like first 6 games, he's putting up numbers. He goes out, and then the next year, everyone's just clamoring. This is his year. This guy is just going to run in so many touchdowns. He's got an arm. He's got Pittman and Downs. And they were going over the squad. It never really came to fruition. And he never developed as we thought that he was going to develop. But dude, he was literally a second round pick.
yeah,
The talent's there, right?
yeah. Was he going in the second round?
Bro, I'll never forget Javi took him in like the second round in our Boathouse League. And like he was like in the second and third round. He was one of the top quarterbacks to go off the board. He was in the Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, like Lamar Jackson bubble, and he was going ahead of them. Like it
Yeah,
was crazy.
I remember when he got drafted, I thought he was going to be a bust. I remember watching a lot of games in Florida where guys are running 5-yard drag routes and he's throwing 95-mile-per-hour fastballs at their feet. Metrics probably mean the least when it comes to quarterback. Look at you put Brock Purdy and Anthony Richardson right next to each other. Anthony Richardson beats him
Looks the part.
in every single category, right?
Yeah.
And give me Brock Purdy all day over Anthony Richardson, obviously.
Right.
Yeah, metrics just don't stand up. And, we've talked about a lot on the show, but he didn't see a lot of snaps in college.
Yep.
I think that if Anthony Richardson was around now, he would have. I mean, he's 23. How is that even possible, first of all?
Bro, how is that even possible?
I'm going to relook that up.
He's 23?
He's about to turn 24 in like
so he's 23.9.
Yeah. But so he came to the league when he was 20. The point I was trying to make is that would have been if NIL was around then,
he would have stayed in.
Anthony Richardson could be like a 5-year quarterback and actually learn in real time.
He would still be coming out of college, maybe even with Arch. Kind of crazy.
Oh, yeah. And then he'd arguably be the first pick in the draft, right? Because he would have seen 2,000 more snaps.
Do you think that can't you go back to college now?
No, not like this, though.
No, not like this.
God, that would be crazy. Imagine Anthony Richardson. So the NIL has some,
and he goes back to his school and plays again. Like, oh man.
Yeah, you can never do that. You can't do that. He already played the NFL. If you enter the draft and you don't get drafted, you can go back or something, but you can't.
Okay.
But yeah, what a bummer. Florida would have had he would have been like a 6th-year senior, right? Graduated 3 years ago, 2 years ago. And
what's the boy from Georgia who's over there backing up Stafford? What's his? Well, not now, but Stedham, right? Or not Stedham.
Thanks, Seven Springs. Appreciate that.
From Georgia, he was the 2 national championships.
Oh yeah, Stetson Bennett.
Yeah, Stetson Bennett. There you go. Like that's another guy. Like just
so now
quarterback staying around for a while.
Yeah, he's gonna be the third string for. No, yeah, Anthony Richardson would still be in college, and he'd be lighting it up. He'd be a Heisman Trophy candidate.
He'd
probably
make more
a
money.
Trophy winner. And I mean, he would have been a superstar in college football. But since NIL wasn't around, he went to go get the money, which I kind of blame him. I remember saying that right away that I don't think he should be going to the NFL. He hasn't seen enough snaps. And I'll never forget because I was like, okay, if someone does get this guy, like a Jalen Milroe, right? A guy like
Milroe.
That second, third, fourth round kind of vibes.
Yeah.
Anthony Richardson, not a bad project, but for him to go as early as he did was a big mistake. And I'm pretty sure Jim Irsay really liked him or something. That was why that happened.
So last thing about the NFL, I know we kind of talked about. What did we already talk about this? About McVay having to play it off that he was upset? Yeah. We did, right? We covered all right. And you got Ty Simpson and now blah blah blah, right?
Yeah. I'd be shocked if Ty Simpson does anything, but That is what it is.
It's the last two raw for our boy Stafford, bro.
I will say this. And Dustino, I wonder if you agree with me or not, or Johnny T as Giant fans. I was surprised over the last week or two how much traction it was getting that Joe Shane was going to get fired. And they just wanted to keep him till after the draft. And then they were going to let him go. And I don't know. That just doesn't seem like the Jim Harbaugh way. You know what I mean?
Or the Mara family, right? Like,
I'm
that's not
sorry,
really how
not
y'all
Jim
do.
Harbaugh, the John Harbaugh way. It doesn't
Right.
seem like the Harbaugh way, because to fire Joe Shane after the draft would kind of be like a snake in the grass move, right? And I was surprised over the last week or two where they were like, there's no disconnect. There's a huge disconnect. People are reporting to somebody else, not Joe Shane, and da-da-da. And I'm like, well, assignments get moved around all the time, right? Maybe Joe Shane had too many things going on. But, you know, he's made some good moves. And yes, we all agree. This isn't like they got to win this year for Joe Shane. And it's probably not just like a win. And it might not even be like a one playoff. It might have to be like a deep playoff run, because then Harbaugh might be like, hey, I'm going to start, it's got to be a clean break. I'm sure they could like shake hands. And I think Joe Shane would probably even want to step away. Now, every GM makes bad moves. And I still don't even know if the Saquon move was like a horrible move, because all he was like, I hate how he handled it on TV. It got real weird because he asked Saquon, hey, if you don't get the offer, if you get an offer, please let us match it. And Saquon's like, get fucked. Give me the offer now, right? We're talking about like $2 million per year extra that you're not willing to give me. It was actually less than that, but whatever. So that he kind of looked weird, but all Joe Shane was saying is, hey, I don't think we're one piece away from winning. And, Saquon would not have had that year if he was with the Giants, right? Not with that offensive line.
No.
I just think that was one of those things. And also, Saquon did not have a good year last year, right?
Right. He
So,
did not.
All Joe Shane was saying is like, yeah, I think you might have 1 or 2 in the tank, but do you have 4 or 5? So, that wasn't like horrible. If Reese, the old lineman, Dart neighbors all perform, Shane will look good. Yeah, exactly, right? If Reese comes out, our O-line, man, is like starting to really. Evan Neal is like the backup right tackle. But our O-line is looking really good. And on paper with like Runyon, Andrew Thomas, Maui, our center, I think there's some options. And then there's that one guy, I always forget his name, starts with an E. But yeah, the way we got Burns. So Shane's made some good moves. Keep in mind, like, who do we think of like the best GMs in the NFL? John Lynch, right? He's always up there. Look what he did. He mortgaged the future for Trey Lance, right?
Yep.
Now they got Brock Purdy
right
with the 7th, right? With Mr. Irrelevant. But John Lynch has made some horrible moves. And he's
on record, bad moves.
Yeah, he's one of the great GMs in our league, because you can't judge a GM on 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. It's about building this team. Now you can argue anybody could build a team if you have top 5 picks year in and year out, which we have had a few. But I don't know. I'm excited, but I was just surprised how like people were saying Joe Shane was gone.
If Joe Shane did get fired, it's like, I don't know if you remember, we had this one buddy's name was Marcus Pittman. He ended up getting this job as like a GM of this restaurant. Owners like give him the menu. He opens up, writes the menu, puts all the staffing, hires everyone, and then they're like, okay, hey, this is actually, this is our family member. He's like our brother, blah, blah, blah. You're going to train him. He's going to go into management. As soon as he trained him, they fired Marcus. You know what I mean? It's just like,
yeah.
And that's just, and sometimes that's how it goes. You put everything in place, you get the system, and then everybody else gets to reap the rewards. I mean, I think we saw Mark Jackson do that in the NBA. There's been other coaches. I mean, a la like Jimmy Johnson, and then Switzer takes over for the Cowboys. Like, there's always somebody who puts it all together, and then somebody that gets to come in and take it. Tony Dungy, right? Yeah. For John Gruden is another huge one with the Bucks. I mean, there's always that kind of setup. So you're just hoping this doesn't turn out something like that, That's
Mark Jackson is literally such a great example of like he had golden. If he was the coach, there's no doubt in my mind they would have won the same exact amount of championships as they did under Kerr. Like, it's just they needed a change. But I remember Mark Jackson letting Steph Curry do his thing, and everybody thought he was crazy. And then, for some reason, they lose a playoff game and they fire Mark Jackson, and then Steve Kerr comes in. But that was all Mark Jackson building that team. And yeah, I never saw Harbaugh just discarding of Joe Shane like that. It is kind of tricky though, right? Like, imagine if I told you, hey, I want you to build this team for now and the future, but if we don't win this year, you're gone. That's kind of right? You got to kind of put your head down and do the right thing. Yeah, and also I was going to give a shout out to John Sterling at the end, but nothing Yankees voice for, I want to say 40 plus years or whatever.
Bah! Yankees win. Yankees win.
Guy was a legend. And I still never forget when I moved to Florida, I used to listen to Yankees on the radio. And I had how houses were back then. They had intercoms built into the wall.
Yeah.
And, I would tweak the dial just so slightly to get it to 7, 10 a.m. or whatever it was down in South Florida. And I would literally just be doing my homework, probably just getting back from baseball practice and listening to the Yankees on the radio nonstop for 2 or 3 years of that time, because it wasn't always where you can get, even back then.
The Yes Network was not on TV,
Yeah. And they were playing on WPIX. And we could never get it, even though we had the best scrambler box you could imagine. We would get it maybe 2 to 3 times a month. And when we did, I was just, it's just crazy how now these kids have so much access to.
Everyone could just stream. You just look up, download, stream immediately. The game is there.
Yeah. Oh, I remember going to the TV guide. You get the TV guide, right? And I can't remember. I don't know if you got it weekly or what. And I would go through every hour of where I knew the Yankees could be on. And I'd be like, oh, they're coming on 6 days from now on this channel. And I would just revolve my whole week around that. You as a Braves fan, you're probably a Braves fan for that reason, right? Because
I had TBS, and there's no teams down here in baseball, there's no Marlins, there's no Rays. I moved from Texas when I was here very young, and it was, late 80s, early 90s. And that was the Braves, baby. Had some good squads, and Maddox was my favorite pitcher of all time. Dude was just an absolute dog. And if not for the lockout in 94, bro, he was doing stuff that no other pitcher had ever done before, man. Maddox was a god, bro. He was incredible.
Yeah, one of the greatest pitchers of all time. They say that Maddox might have been the most affected by this ABS, challenge thing, because he was one where the umpire just gave it to him because he just kept
he stretched it.
He would just stretch it and stretch it, where now they could challenge it, which is kind of interesting. Yeah. To wrap it up with baseball, the Yankees can't shake the Rays right now.
No, they're the only team on your tail.
But the AL is a joke. Schlittler, we have Max Fried, Schlittler, and Warren, who I think are all top 5 for Cy Young right now.
Right.
Our pitching is great. Now, I don't know if
the fact that Warren was out on the wire a couple weeks ago is still crazy too, because you just knew that kid was going to turn around.
I don't know if I can completely trust Warren as a playoff guy, but I think that when Cole comes back, the way Schlittler looks, it's going to be real scary to it's going to be real scary.
Cole's only a few weeks away.
Yeah. It's going to go. I think it's going to probably be Max Fried first, then Schlittler, then Cole, maybe.
Yeah, I'd say you put Cole in third.
There's really nobody.
Maybe in the playoffs, though, you go. Maybe in the playoffs, you go Cole too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and maybe, but it's going to be scary. And then we have
either way, Fried's pitching your game 7s. You know what I mean? If you get any of those, you definitely want Fried.
Yeah. I don't know if we make a move to maybe try to get another bat, but yeah, I know you're right. Dusty, it's our pitching looks so good. Now to the National League, I said it was Yankees Dodgers on a collision course before the season started. But now you have the Braves, your Braves, who has Strider came back yet or no?
Yeah, he just came back this last week, and we get Iglesias back today.
How did Strider do on his first start?
It was all right. It was a little up and down. Few earned runs. I think he allowed 3. Went through a few innings, just kind of getting him stretched out a little bit.
All right. Yeah, I mean the Braves have their offenses. Albies is back, and he's back with a vengeance.
Albies is amazing right now. Acuna hasn't even got going yet. Riley's bouncing back. Olsen's making noise. We got dudes showing up just from left to right, but
big surprise, right? Baldwin,
but Bryce Elder has been like an anchor in our rotation right now, and of course we got Sale, and we got some dudes that are on the mend on our pitching staff. But yeah, man, our offense has been keeping up. Our run differential is stupid. We're like tops in the league when it comes to like 80-something plus run differentials, like 82 or something like that.
Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine it's the NLCS, Dodgers, Braves, Ohtani, and Sale starting game 1.
Yeah.
That would be like something that should be like a pay-per-view. Like that would be
bro, absolutely, man. Braves got some juice this year. I knew they were going to.
2 first ballot Hall of Famers, 2 teams that are most likely going to win 100 games. And, watching Acuna and Ohtani battle, watching Sale. It's really interesting to see the way the Dodgers are kind of using Ohtani too.
We're not scared of the Dodgers, bro. In 2022, we took out the Dodgers. I don't care if they didn't have Kyle Tucker or whatever. We're not scared of them. We can beat them. Our offense is nasty, and we can hit every one of their pitchers.
I don't think they didn't have Ohtani then either, right?
No, I don't think so. Well, 2022? No.
Yeah.
No, that was the year before.
Yeah. But the Rays don't scare me too much. I'm not trying to be, I'm not trying to.
Junior Caronero woke up. That boy's a monster. Yeah.
They have the offense. I don't know if they have the pitching, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And actually, I don't know if they have the offense either. Seattle is still.
No, I have them in the baseball run league, and I'm in like last place. They're not. They can't score 13. They can't score 12. They can't score 9.
Oh yeah, I gotta send them 8 too.
They can score 3 like 11 or 12 times. Like they are good at 3.
Yeah,
so good at 3 runs.
Seattle's the only team that kind of scares me in the AL, but they got playoffs. You know what I mean?
They're struggling, bro. They're not even winning their division.
I know. It's
the Athletics are, right? Aren't the Athletics winning?
Yeah. They're all kind of going back and forth there.
No, yeah, I'm just saying. But, nobody had the Athletics and Savale over there doing his thing, and some of those
the Mariners have the Mariners have a very strong like top 5 hitters. Then it falls off pretty hard, pretty quick. Randy Arozarena, however you say his name, is having a great year, but like Logan Gilbert has not been good.
He hasn't been great yet.
Wu has not been great.
He hasn't been great.
And then Kirby hasn't been great.
So I feel like those guys are definitely going to turn it around. I've been watching, like I got some stock in Reagans and in Bubic for the Royals. And these guys are a little bit
Royals.
No, yeah, and they're like a little up and down, but they're like starting to get it figured out. And you're gonna see talent prevail. Guys are gonna get stretched out. We're weeks in now. It's a long season. You know how it goes. Everyone's working on everything. You don't want to extend yourself too much. You're going to see some pitchers rise, fall. I will say, though, out of the AL, dude, it's the Yankees, it's the Rays, the Indians are going to be there.
The Yankees and the Rays, listen to this. Nobody in the AL Central has a winning record.
Right.
In the AL West, A's are the only team with a winning record.
Right, the A's, right.
And then the Yankees and the Rays obviously are way above 500.
Yeah.
The Yankees run differential is plus 76. The Rays, they're 22-12. What do you think their run differential is?
Without looking and just knowing how shitty they've been for me, I'm going to say their run differential is like 12.
You're ridiculous, bro. 11.
It's 11. Let's go.
I feel like if I had to put up my last 401k on you guessing numbers, I'd put you right up there. Yeah. What do you think the Braves are?
They're 25. We're in the 80s. We're like 8. Yeah, we're like right there around the 80s, 81, 82, something like that.
And they just lost yesterday too.
So right, we lost to the Mariners on the road, and we got Elder going today.
Yeah, the Cubs are plus 43. The Dodgers are plus 68. So if you want to go straight by run differential, Braves are the best team in MLB. Yankees are second, and then Dodgers.
All those
third.
teams are going to be in the playoffs, dude. Those are the flags that are indicative of a great team who's not just streaky. That just means that they're like consistently putting up numbers and offense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know what's crazy is that
the Yankees did blow out the Orioles by like 40 runs in this last series. There was something, whatever it was.
Got some.
You guys, Sean Munson, if you're out there,
I've been
texting
texting
on our other group chat. Oh my God, the Yankees just destroyed the Orioles for like 30 of those runs in the differential. It's unbelievable.
Every time Judge hits a home run, Sean Munson gets an all rise text. But what
he
was
was
I
in
say?
The other day, by the way. He says what's up.
Yeah, love the guy. So I was thinking, so I have Tatis, right? He was my first pick in the draft.
Right.
And
Colston Montgomery, bitch.
He's been Colston Montgomery has like 10 more home runs than Fernando Tatis.
It's ridiculous.
But I looked up because I just wanted to go deeper into the numbers, right? So I just Googled his name and a bunch of fantasy stuff pops up, right? Because he has not hit a home run yet. You know that he is second in the whole MLB with hard hit percentage? Number 1 is James Wood. Number 2.
For a beast for the Nationals.
Number 2 is Tatis. Now, they said his
got to be his launch angle, dude.
Yeah, his launch angle is like a couple degrees different, but he's hitting the shit out of the ball. He's just getting unlucky. Now,
the barrel on the bat is like the BAP or the BAPIT or whatever it is. Your barrel percentage is crazy.
So he's number 2. So, don't change anything. The ball will start flying, right? And yes, his home run numbers will obviously might go down a little bit if his launch angle is different, but at least we know he's hitting the ball hard. So I could see now. Yeah, Murakami, he's been the biggest surprise. I mean, him and Montgomery are anchoring that White Sox team, and
Murakami, you got Okamoto for the flailing Toronto Blue Jays too, and they got so many guys on the bend. The Blue Jays are going to make a run on y'all, not like on y'all, but in that area in the AL.
Oh yeah, the White Sox are
They're
scary,
just not healthy.
And they gave away Crochet.
The White Sox got Dean Martin, bro. That dude is a stud. You seen his lines yet? You even know who Dean Martin is?
Yeah, no, I don't.
I'm not even talking about Dean Martin from the Rat Pack, bro.
Yeah,
like you know what I mean? Like we're talking about a pitcher on the White Sox. Let me just educate you on this guy, Dean Martin, bro. Because I was like shocked. I picked him up as a streamer, and this guy has been an absolute dominant beast who's in the Cy Young race right now. And you're talking about a White Sox pitcher. All right, here we go. Dean Martin. I'm sorry, it's Davis Martin. My apologies. He's a 4th-ranked pitcher. He was 0 owned. He's now to 65% owned, right? He's 5-1 with a 1.64 ERA, 43 Ks, and just over a 1 whip. This dude, his last, let's just go over his entire game log, starting from yesterday and beyond. 0 earned runs, 10 Ks. 1 earned run, 7 Ks. 1 earned run, 7 Ks. 1 earned run, 4 Ks. 2 earned run, 3 Ks. 0 earned, 6. 3 earned, 6. This dude is just balling for the White Sox. He's under the radar, and he's like becoming a name that nobody's heard yet. Davis
and
Martin.
The White Sox are a half a game out of Seven Springs. I agree, Dusty. Mariners plus 110 to win the AL West. Love that. Yeah, John, I think that we make a trade. And do we go get it? Actually, I don't think they would trade him now because the White Sox, I think, might win that division. The Indians and the Tigers, I'm not believers in. I tell you what, if this was the playoffs, I would be more scared to go against the White Sox than I would the Tigers without Screwball, obviously.
Right, because Screwball's hurt until the end of the year. That just broke yesterday. We did not mention that.
Yeah. He'll be back.
That's crazy too.
He'll be back, but like for example, in our fantasy league, which we did a short and like turbo season, Screwball gets dropped, right? I think he would get dropped.
Yeah, unless if he comes back for your championship week and you make it.
Yeah, I guess you do hold on to him a little bit, but
it's interesting stuff.
Yeah, so Johnny T was like, maybe we trade for Murakami. Yeah, I don't think the White Sox are in that selling mode right now, but we'll see. It's
they're in a rebuild mode.
The Yankees, I think it's the Yankees and the Braves. It's up to them to prevent this strike. Because if
Yeah.
the Dodgers win another World Series, the strike is definitely going to happen.
Yeah, we got to stop it, bro.
I'm not going to say it's not going to happen if the Yankees or Braves, but I think if the Dodgers win, the strike is definitely happening.
And I think it's a definite loss for the MLB if they have to strike, dude. I don't care if you have to like regather and resituate. Like you have more momentum now after all the changes that just happened with the pitch clock and with the players availability thing, the IL moves that everyone's making. Like everybody has to understand right now, baseball has the best young crop and talent and players. And Ohtani is the face of the league. And I get that he's on the Dodgers. I get it. But you just have too many good things that are keeping baseball relevant and at the forefront right now. If you let this go, it's a bad move, dude. You lose a lot of that momentum. You lose millions upon millions of dollars because you're going to have all this interest that just literally fades away. When you're hot, you got to keep relevant. You got to figure out how to stay relevant. And this is one of the best young grouping of like between Skeens and Scooball. And you got Ohtani and you got other crazy bats and Okunas and you got dudes coming up. It's crazy, bro. There's so many good players in the league right now. I can't believe there's talk of a strike. This is unreal.
I mean, it's because with the I don't know what else, but it's because of the Dodgers are doing and whatever.
Well, yeah, and I mean, like you said, bro, like,
I do got to cut it short. I got some
maintenance. No, yeah, you just got to be smart with your money, and let's just understand everybody. They're playing the game better than anybody else. You're learning how to pay people on the back end instead of the front end. Yada yada. Like it's business, man. There's a certain reason why the rich stay rich and the poor stay poor. It's because they understand the tax brackets. They know how to work the system. That's what it is.
Yeah, I think the problem I have with what the Dodgers are doing is that there's no salary cap, so they're like there's no need to do what you're doing, and it's just you're taking advantage of international market. It's just it's ugly. But all right, we'll get into it next show.
You already know, man. Happy Cinco de Mayo, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to Prop Stars. Like and subscribe. Get us out there. We appreciate y'all. Hope you have a good Cinco de Drinko. Peace. We're out.
Be good, guys. Thank you.
Go Cowboys.